Hello everyone, welcome back to AI Basics for Developers. In episode 1, we learned about tokens, how AI breaks text into smaller pieces before processing information. Now let's connect that idea to something much more important, the context window. Because tokens are the building blocks, but context window decides how information AI can actually remember and work with at one time. Today we will understand why AI sometimes forgets your code, how chart memory works, and what people actually mean when they say a model supports 2 lakh tokens, 1 million tokens, and all. So, what is context window? A context window is the total amount of information AI can actively see and reason about in one session. That includes your prompts, chart history, code files, logs, documentation, stack traces, everything currently loaded into that conversation. Think of it like a RAM in your computer. RAM is temporary working memory, right? It's not like a hard disk. Similarly, context window works for AI agents. The model can only reason about whatever currently fits inside that context window. And that memory is measured using tokens. So when a model says it supports 2 lakh tokens, that means 200k tokens, it means that AI can process a massive amount of information together in one session, roughly around 1,50,000 words. Like in previous session we discussed, right? One token is nothing but 3/4 of the word. So that means that with 200k tokens, it can manage around 1.5 lakh words. But here the important part developers misunderstand, a context window is not a permanent memory. Once a chart ends, the context is gone. A new chart starts fresh every time. So let me show you that. So I'm in a chart session, right? If I hover on it, this 200k tokens chart session, it is offered by GitHub Copilot as well. If you open any chart session in GitHub Copilot, it will show you that. So the context window is 200k tokens. That means 2 lakh tokens. Out of it, I use 290 tokens. So I have so much space here. So ideally, you should provide context within 20-25% of the context window so that it will have enough space for do good reasoning. If you don't leave enough space for reasoning, the output quality will be degraded. And one more important thing you need to remember is, like, I'm in this chart session, right? If I open a new chart session, the entire context will be gone. It is a fresh session. It doesn't have any information about what we did in the previous session. Here is the analogy that makes this easy to understand. Imagine working with a teammate who already knows your project. They remember your architecture, naming conventions, previous bugs, and coding patterns. Their sessions feel smart because they already have context. Now imagine replacing the teammate every single day with some new person. Every morning he asks, which framework are we using? How is the project structured? That's exactly what happens when AI loses context. AI is only as smart as the context you provide. Better context lead to better assistance. Now let's see what a large context window actually looks like in practice. I showed you that GitHub example, right? Yeah. Modern Copilot experiences support context windows around 200 tokens. That is roughly around 1,50,000 words. What matters is what the AI can keep in memory simultaneously. It can understand multiple files together, your controllers, services, modules, documentation, error logs, earlier chart discussions. These are all things it can remember using that context window. This is why AI coding assistants feel dramatically smarter during long development session, because in long development session we provide so much information, right? You ask it to do something. If you are not satisfied with the output, you will correct it. While correcting, you provide another information. So these all things will be loaded in that session, and it will have lot of information about your project. That's why when you continue your conversation, the output will be better, and the AI agent will have more context about your project. And the more relevant context the AI can see, the more accurate and project aware sessions it will provide to us. This is also we discussed. Imagine spending an hour explaining your automation framework. The AI now understand your playwright setup, folder structure, naming convention, page object model design. So I explained everything in one chart session about these pages, test classes, the project structure, everything I explained. Imagine that. And if I ask it to do something, the session become highly specific and useful, because I provided enough context to that coding agent. Now, when I open a new chart, instantly everything resets. Now the AI asks, which framework are we using? What is your folder structure? And suddenly the quality drops. Not because the model became worse, but because context disappeared. This is why experienced developers keep related work in one ongoing conversation whenever possible. So this is really important. When you are working on a project, for irrelevant things only, you need to open a new chart session. If I am developing some script, I should give all follow-up prompts also within the same session. I should not open new chart for each and every prompt I am going to give. Okay, this is really important. Now, you may think, if the context window is huge, doesn't that completely solve the memory problem what we discussed? Not really. A large context window reduces forgetting, but it doesn't eliminate it. As conversation became longer, older information slowly gets pushed out as new content enters the window. So, if you have a whiteboard and you are writing on it, when you have enough space, you can freely write. But whenever you have less space, you start writing congested letters, or if you don't have any space left on the board, you will wipe some portion and write, right? These AI agents will work in the same way. So when there is enough context window, they perform better. The response quality will be very good. When there is low space, the reasoning will be degraded, the response quality will be degraded. And sometimes if the context window doesn't have enough space, what it will do, it will erase the previous information. That's why sometimes agent will forget your instructions. When you keep on putting information in the context window, it will erase the previous instructions, right? That's why it doesn't follow what you gave as an instruction to the agent. Those things it will forget. So these are the best practices for the developers. First, stay in same chart for related tasks. Second, provide architecture contextually. Quickly explain your tech stack, folder structure, and conventions. Third, attach relevant files whenever possible. Don't just describe the code base, let the AI actually see it. And fourth, periodically summarize important decisions during long chats, because even it forgets the initial instruction, if you summarize that's latest, right, it will remember them. These habits help the AI maintain stronger context and produce dramatically better results. Let's close this session with the key takeaways. The context window is the AI's temporary working memory. It's measured in tokens. Large context windows are powerful but still temporary. Different chart sessions don't share memory, and the quality of AI assistance depends heavily on the context you provide. So, the better your context management, the smarter the AI feels. If you find it useful, follow this series, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in next episode. Thank you.